Begin making your own mini game on Scratch by clicking on the Create tab along the menu bar on the top. Our project window will open. I'm going to close the tutorial window. Here is where you're going to see your code being put together. To the right, you'll see your Sprite stage area where the animation is happening. Towards the bottom is where your character sprites will be populated. And to the right, you have your background menu. I don't want to use the current sprite that was opened by default, so I'm going to delete it by clicking on the trash. I can either search for a sprite from the Scratch library, and I can also upload my own character. I'll be using a character I created in Photoshop in a previous workshop where we made pixel art. Background has already been removed from my character. Next, to select a backdrop, you can either search from the main library of backdrops, and you can also upload your own, be surprised, and paint your own as well. I want my Parrot sprite to be a little smaller. I'm going to change the size down to 40. I'm going to grab him and move to the bottom of the screen. For the ball sprite, we need to set up our code. Let's head to the menu on the left-hand side, which has our coding options. Begin with events. When the flag is clicked, we'll begin our code. Drag and drop into your coding area. Next, we'll head to motion. Select point in direction, drag and drop to click on when the flag is clicked. Change this number to 45. I want the ball to move 15 steps. And if it hits the edge of the tunnel, it'll bounce. This should happen on a continuous loop. Drag and drop the forever bracket to hug the move 15 steps and if on edge, bounce. We want this to happen on a continuous loop when it's clicked. You can see the ball is hitting the walls of the tunnel back and forth. Select the stop sign symbol to stop the animation. Click on the flag to begin the animation again. Next, we'll create our code for the Parrot sprite. We're going to go to Events, when the flag is clicked, Motion, Set X, Axis, and we need to change this to Sensing, Mouse X, drag and drop it in the bubble. And we want this to happen on a forever loop. Go to Control, drag and drop forever around the blue code. Now click to see what happens. Great, looking good so far. Setting up the scoreboard. Head to the events code. When the green flag is clicked, variables code. I'm going to create a new variable, make a variable. I'm going to call it score. For all sprites, click OK. Use the drop-down menu from the Set My Variable to 0 and change that to score. Drag and drop this code. Now you can see the scoreboard has appeared on the top left-hand side of our animation stage. Let's see what happens when we click on the green flag. Looks like we need to set up our code for the scoreboard. Select the ball sprite, head over to Events. When the flag is clicked, Control Code. We want this to happen on a forever loop. If blank then, sensing, if the ball is touching, then we want it to play a sound. I think a pop sound is appropriate for this game. You can also record your own. And we also want the score to change every time the two sprites interact. So we're going to head over to our variables, change score by 1. So every time the two sprites interact, the score will change by 1. If the two sprites interact, it'll also turn the ball by 180 degrees. And move 15 steps. I'm going to have it wait half a second. Let's see what happens. Good. Our score is changing. Let's make this a bit more challenging. Let's make our sprite a little smaller. And we'll duplicate the ball sprite. Right-click, duplicate. I want to change the color, so I'm going to head over to the tab that says Costumes along the top, and I'm going to select a different color. You also have the option to customize the costume for your sprite from this tab menu. Let's check out our code. And remember, if you want to reset your score to 0, just click on the flag. That's the code we created here. When the flag is clicked, set the score back to 0. Don't forget to name your project, and now you can share it. From the project page, you can get a link. You can share it by email, send to your friends and family to try out your new game. Don't forget to add some instructions, as well as notes and credits.